Hello, everyone, and welcome to another great episode of the Gridiron Glory here, where Will and Tad cover all 32 NFL teams. And today we have a Week 8 recap between the Houston Texans and the Indianapolis Colts, with the Houston Texans completing the season sweep of their rival Colts 23-20 in Houston, Texas. CJ Stroud, 25 of 37, 285 yards and a touchdown, no interception. So a good day for the Houston quarterback. Not so much for the quarterback on the other side for the Colts. Anthony Richardson, 10 for 32, 175 yards, a touchdown, and interception, and an interesting play towards the end of the game where he asked out of the game. And he said in the post game that it was because he was tired after the play. So a very interesting play for Anthony Richardson there, who has since been benched for Joe Flacco moving forward, and
Deservedly so.
on the
Deservedly,
quarterback
deser-
situation.
yeah, deservedly so. Deservedly so. You get drafted. Well, First of all, Tad. I mean, I don't really know what the Indianapolis Colts were really all that much seeing in Anthony. I mean, no disrespect to like the franchise necessarily, but at the same time, it's like I don't get what you were necessarily seeing in Anthony Richardson, even coming out of Florida. I mean, even when he played for the Gators, I don't know where would you have ranked him amongst college quarterbacks during his time with the Florida Gators?
I mean, Anthony Richardson was always a quarterback that, while he was athletic, he wasn't ready as a quarterback yet. He needed more time to develop in college, and I think it was clear then, and it's still clear now, that he's not ready to play in the NFL yet. And I mean, it keeps showing. I mean, the Colts, they've been a better team with Joe Flacco in pretty much every game this year. So it's just an unfortunate situation. He needs more time to develop, and maybe he comes back on the other end of this. Maybe he develops, but right now he's not there yet.
Yeah, maybe he needs to take some time as a backup for a couple seasons or so to develop, maybe, and then maybe like he could get like another situation with another team where maybe he could turn into something. But not all quarterbacks make it in the NFL,
Right.
and not all of them are meant to stay and be tenured in the NFL. And quite frankly, I just don't think Anthony Richardson is it.
And I mean, a lot of quarterbacks, like, they sit for a few years and then they turn into good quarterbacks. I mean, we saw it obviously with guys like Aaron Rodgers. The Green Bay system does that very well. Rodgers, Jordan Love. But there's some situations where if you just rush them out too early, it can have disastrous results. I mean, and we've kind of seen that so far with Anthony Richardson, and it's remains to be seen if he'll turn it around. But for the Colts, they'll be better with Joe Flacco at quarterback in the short term. I mean, that's just the way it is.
Yeah, Jonathan Taylor, 105 yards and a touchdown. Great performance there for him. You got guys like Josh Downs. Texans on the flip side of things. Great defensive play from guys like Tim Settle Jr. You also got guys like Will Anderson Jr. And yeah, Tad, where would you rank Will Anderson Jr. amongst just defensive players overall in the AFC?
Yeah, I mean, Will Anderson was one of the best defensive linemen in the draft last year out of Alabama. Obviously, Alabama, they're a wagon with producing defensive players in the NFL, and Mr. Anderson Jr. is no different. He was the third pick in 2023, and he's lived up to the hype, and he's established himself as one of the better young talents in the NFL on the defensive side. So
Tad,
he
I'd also really quickly like to get your take on former Viking and guy out of LSU, Daniil Hunter, defensive end, and his performance in this game. As
yeah, I mean,
with
just
the stat line.
a very quality pairing. I mean, with him and Anderson, I mean, they have one of the best defensive lines in the league, at least at the ends. And adding Danielle Hunter, that was a big addition. The 2 sacks, obviously, a big plays there, and those were 2 of 5 sacks, so not an impressive game for the Colts offensive line, but yeah, Hunter and Anderson, that's a tough matchup, so the Texans took advantage there. Just a good showing by the Texans defense. Their offense was good as well. Stephon Diggs 5 catches for 81 yards, but now he's unfortunately going to be out for the season with his injury, so that's unfortunate for Diggs, I'd say.
Yeah, that is very unfortunate for Stephon Diggs and this Houston Texans team overall. I do think they're still going to be okay without him per se.
I mean, I'd say it means that they need to get Nico Collins back sooner than later because he's also injured, but he'll be back. So it's definitely not good to have both of their 2 of their top 3 receivers at the very least out. So it's going to be some adversity, but they found a way in this football game, and with CJ Stroud at quarterback, I imagine they'll continue to find a way.
And the Texans, they get Thursday Night Football in Week 9 against the New York Jets. You go on the road there. That's certainly going to be, a game where you got to go 7-2. But nonetheless, look out for Aaron Rodgers to maybe be sneakily good in this game. And then the Colts, I believe they go on. No, the Colts, they play your Vikes, Tad, on Sunday Night Football in Week 9. So, I mean, real quick, just like a weird game to get flexed in, huh?
Yeah, an interesting choice there. I mean, they needed to make the move to get the one out, but yeah, interesting there. I mean, 2 teams that are 500 or better, both fighting for playoff spots, stuff like that. It's something, and now having Joe Flacco there makes it more exciting, I think. So we'll see.
Yeah, well, I think that's kind of the reason why I picked up Joe Flacco in fantasy, was specifically for that reason. So,
right on.
Yep. So I can be hyped with you on Sunday night. But yeah, there you have it. Texans 23, Colts 20. Be sure to like, subscribe, and follow. Tad, did you have any other final thoughts or takes on the game, or did you want to tell the fans anything?
Oh, I have plenty to tell the fans. Fans, thank you very much for listening to our podcast and continuing to follow, and view all of our content. The Gridiron Glory. Find us on YouTube and on Facebook as well. Thanks for following.